Hello, citizens of the verse. This will be the second to the last in the shipyard series and is going to be all about cargo and cargo haulers. When it comes to cargo haulers, naturally you'd consider its maximum amount of hauling capacity to be its most important feature, right? So if that were the case, then you should always be looking to use the biggest ship that you can. Having a higher SCU capacity would seem like a no-brainer. But as ships go up in size, they also sacrifice their defensive capabilities, speed and maneuverability just for the ability to haul more goods. So bigger may not always mean better, depending on what kind of situation you'll be facing. Instead of just picking the biggest ship, you should first consider your trade route, take into account how much protection you're going to need, what kind of cargo you're going to be hauling, and then pick the best ship that fits your mission based on those parameters. Commodities are sold in amounts called units. Anything that is sold will have its amount measured in how many units it takes up. An SCU, or standard cargo unit, is the universal method for measuring cargo and can hold the equivalent of 100 units. One SCU is our standard box size, so that when we say that a ship can have 100 SCUs worth of space, you'll know precisely how many containers it'll be able to hold, and helps to give a better mental picture as to exactly how much space that's actually going to be. Containers can be refrigerated, or constructed to contain biohazardous material, act as livestock containers, and be custom made for any number of other uses. But regardless of the container type, it will always adhere to the universal SCU standard method of sizing. It's also good to know that a single SCU size container can hold up to 100 units of something before it's full. Since one SCU is the small size storage container, it means that regardless if you're buying 1 unit of beans or 100 unit of beans, that stock will still take up 1 SCU's worth of storage space in your ship's hold. If you order 101 beans, then that order will take up 2 SCU's worth of storage space, even though the second container will end up being 99% empty. More efficient traders are going to want to round off their cargo purchases as closely as they can to the nearest 100 units. It's also good to remember that you cannot mix commodities into the same container. So filling 50 units of mutated space chickens into one container doesn't mean that you can fill it up the rest of the way with 50 units of Vandal sausage to save on space. If you tried, the sausage would simply be stored in its own cargo box. Weapons and equipment have a size attributed to them as well. This allows players to buy SCU-sized storage crates and use them to store your extra items and weapons safely in the grid instead of leaving them lying about, loose around the ship, which could cause some other problems that we're about to go over. Overloading a ship is definitely going to be a feature, and ended up being a highly requested one. Being able to physically fit and load crates by hand is going to be a huge part of this. They do encourage people to secure their cargo tightly, since every bump from either combat, re-entry, or quantum jumps will knock around anything that isn't secured down in the hold, which can cause it to take damage or fly around and hit others while potentially damaging anything else it ends up running into. Also, one clumsy deckhand could open the airlock and whoosh, there goes everything that wasn't nailed down. Anything that's secured on a grid is considered to be declared on the ship's manifest, so that when a player goes through a customs checkpoint or is encountered by law enforcement, their manifest will be open for inspection by anyone who checks on it. This includes pirates who hack your computer terminals. This allows players to make a conscious effort to not declare an item by deliberately leaving it off the grid. There is a second layer to smuggling items, and it's that police and other craft will also have the ability to scan your ship. This is done on occasion and will show off contraband items whether it's on the grid or not. To aid in combating this, smugglers can add additional technology to their SCU crates that can scramble scanners, or install spoofers which makes a container's contents appear to be something else. A major question about the new ship matrix with regards to the cargo capacity in ships can be typified in the example of the Reclaimer, which was originally sold with an SCU of 2,500 and is now listed as having an SCU of 360. This new number reflects only the usable amount of storage space and no longer includes things like space that's reserved for holding recovered salvage and collected ore. This also goes for ships like the Prospector and Orion that both have a specific amount of space set aside for collecting items through mining operations that's not considered to be cargo space. Rest assured, this space isn't disappearing or shrinking. They're just being more precise in announcing what each portion of a ship's interior space is set aside for. From this point on, only the space that's specifically dedicated for cargo hauling is going to be listed under the cargo capacity number for a ship. Thank you for your time and for tuning in. I hope this has been informative with regards to how cargo is going to be handled. Take care, and I hope you'll join me again for more Star Citizen information.